Hey, legal gangsters. This is Sean Lacey, aka Ms. Officer. And as you all can see, the title of this video is Addicted Cop. And yes, I was an addicted cop. So, what I want you all to do is take a moment of your time as I share this journey. Now, we're going to look at this video that I made on August the 27th, 2017. And I recorded it to share my journey at that time and my addiction. And as you can see, the title up there, it says Army Veteran, Police Officer, PTSD, MST, Suicide, Addiction, Benzo, Opioid, and Alcohol. And this is hard. When I first made this video, I was, as you all have seen a video, that I was just coming through the most harsh withdrawals in October of 2015. So this is a little bit over a year and a half later. And I thought I was ready to make this video, but I did make the video and I did share it. But at the time, my mother was also still living, and she feared for the repercussions that would come behind me making this video. And then also, I was, I'll be honest, I was fearful of what may be said, any problems that I could have had behind making this video. So then took the video, I left it up, but I put it on lock. So I've had it on lock on YouTube since August 27th of 2017. So here it is, right at 7 years later. Um, One thing I know is that I've hit a roadblock right now because I don't want to feel like an imposter when I talk to you all about the laws and I talk to you about Houston and how to do right. I don't want to seem like an imposter. What I want to do is let you all understand what occurred in my life and to know that even though you may fall off along the your journey, that with God you can always come back. And so what you all are about to see is my journey and what happened to get me to my addiction. Okay. I don't want to, it's just like 3 minutes into it. And the video itself is already like 50 minutes. So I'm going to get started. But I will say again, yes, I was addicted cop and I was addicted to two pills that in Houston we consider a part of the Houston cocktail. And those two pills were Xanax and Hydrocodone. I'll say this, and then I'm really gonna get ready to get started. God's word says in Revelation 12 and 11, and they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. God gave me this story. So, and it's to glorify Him. So, all glory to God. And I pray that, and you all listening to this story and you all listening to my journey, that it helps you. And if you have any questions and or concerns, you're welcome to leave them in the comments and I will answer them to the best of my ability. Okay. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. And again, I haven't watched this since 2017. So it's going to be hard for me to watch this as well. But it's time. God bless you all. Good evening, everyone. I said I would be here, so I'm here. I know. It's warm in Houston, guys. So please forgive me. I want to show you all something. First and foremost, like I told you all, I am here not speaking as a victim, but I'm speaking as a veteran and some of the things us as veterans go through. I want to show you something. I just found out I have to have a surgery coming up. I don't know if you all can see back here. This is something. And I did. I already had my surgery, and it was 2 hip replacements. And I'm fine. Thank God. Something that the VA hospital gave to me to use until I have the surgery. It's for a total hip replacement. I'm gonna show you what. And remember, this is my faith. This is how I feel about it. Some gasoline, right? As you all can see, brand new, straight issue. Still had a tag on it and everything. Will be it. It's my lighter. No, for real, guys. Look, it's water. It's what I use in my workout. I know you all didn't think I was going to burn up something that the VA hospital gave me. No way. Just stay tuned. I'm more to talk to you. So come with me on my journey. Everyone that's here, I'm glad you all could be here to share with me on my journey. Now, like I said, it's no way I would burn up something that the VA so graciously gave to me. But my faith says that I'm healed. So because of the fact that I know I'm healed, I'm not walking with that. But let me talk to you all. You all, I do have faith, but I did have to walk with it for a moment, but only after I had my surgeries. Okay. Forgive me. It's hot in Houston, Texas today. I think we will reach about 97 degrees. 97 degrees today. So this is real candid, real personal conversation with you all this evening. It's a lot of things that I initially wanted to cover, but I know I will not be able to cover because there's so much to cover within an hour that I asked for. But we're just gonna go simply into some things. Now, like I told you all, this is personal, and I'm sharing some things in the hopes that I'm able to help someone because of my journey. Yeah, I was so nervous, and I still am. This is again very hard, but yeah. Okay, let's keep going. This is what I need you all to know, and always remember, even for yourselves, you are not victims. You're not victims. We're veterans. We're soldiers. We're women. We're individuals who've been through something that was beyond our control. And if you are listening to me right now, that means you made it. So if you made it to this point, you have things in store to come. So this is some things with my own personal journey. And one thing I know is that, especially as a Christian, if I made it over some of the things that I made it over, I have to share. I have to share because if I didn't, then what was the purpose of me going through it? And I do feel that way. I don't want to say I cowered out and didn't keep the video up. Again, I just got real concerned. And then my mother was very concerned. She's no longer here. She went to be with Jesus in 2021. But I honor her, I respect her, And I took her wisdom for what it was. And when she asked me to not share it, I just did not. Move this a little bit closer. I don't do live often, so you all bear with me. Um, First and foremost, I would like to say that I am a veteran, as you all know. Um, I'm a war era veteran. Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Um, Lost a lot of people. Lost a lot of people I loved, a lot of people I care about, just as you all. In the beginning, when I first got back home, and it's a page that I would advise all veterans to go to. It's called Veteran to Veteran Information. Um, it has a whole lot of, and that's exactly what it does. It has a whole lot of information for veterans. Now, the greatest thing is that it's a closed group. We can share our experiences. We can talk about things without consequence. And this is one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, sharing with you all without consequence. Please forget a water. That was from outside. I had to do that to you all. I hope the comic relief kind of took the edge off for everyone. But when I got home, and one of the things that the page says all the time is we were taught to go to war, but we were not taught how to come home from war. We were not taught how to reassimilate back into society, the society that we left. So with that, we face a lot of issues. Okay, one of the biggest things for me, I'm so blessed because I've had two of the greatest professions that anyone could have. First of all, um, uh, United States Army soldier, and then coming home, police officer. At the same time, both of those quite blessings. I'm telling you, quite blessings. But at the same time, of course, they had their turns, their downturns with me. First thing I want to talk to you all about. I told you all I was diagnosed with PTSD. Um, Going into the military, I was always taught, even before I left home, to respect authority. That was something that was inbred in me from a kid coming up. So when I went to the military, when I had sergeants over me, drill sergeants, and things of that nature, I always respected what I was told. Okay, that kind of turned out detrimental. It was a two-edged sword because the MST, which is military sexual trauma, came about because of the fact that while I completed basic training, but when I went to my advanced training, it was in Augusta, Georgia, Fort Gordon. Because I was communications, come back, come on. Um, I had a drill sergeant in the sense that we think of aggravated sexual assault. It didn't go down like that. He, it was not attack me, pin me against the wall, or anything of that nature. It was simply I was on CQ, he was on CQ. He ordered me to go to the S3 to the day room across the hall. Um, Being obedient, I did. Being being the fact that I went to the military because I needed to be there. It was not so much as just wanting to be there, but I needed to be there. So I went on over across, and of course, a sexual incident went down. A sexual incident occurred, and from that time forth, it traumatized me. I never looked at individuals in positions of authority the same way because of what he did, because of what he did. Okay, I carried that a long time. I've been asked many times, did I ever report? No, I didn't report. Only reported after I was well out of the military for quite some time. Is when I finally reported. And a lot of people say, a lot of individuals think that if you don't report, it's not that serious. No, it's just as serious if it would have been horribly physical. because that's something even to this day. And here I am, nearly 30 years later, it still affects my life. It still affects my well-being. But once again, like I said to you all, I'm not a victim. I am not a victim. Not a victim. Not playing a victim's card or anything. But it's something that is necessary to be brought to the forefront. It's necessary for individuals to know what's going on because it's constantly hurting young women as well as young men even today. Okay, PTSD, post traumatic stress disorder. Um, you do not have to be a military personnel. You don't have to be in the military to have PTSD. It could have been anything that was extremely tragic or something that happened to you in your life that made you, it changed your life. You know, it could have been events that changed exactly the things that you the way you thought of things before, you saw them totally in a different way. Now with me,
My heart is beating like 1,000 miles per minute watching this. Wow. I'll be 55 in September, and I was approximately 47. Yeah, about 47 years old when I made this video. All right. Thank you all for tuning in, and let's keep going.
my PTSD had me having horrendous. It started off with horrendous nightmares. Um, horrendous nightmares. I was home. Um, I was already policing. Of course, I lost individuals while in the military that I loved and I cared about. And then, of course, after becoming a police officer, I even lost more individuals and I saw a whole lot of different things. Um, so it was life changing, life altering events that occurred. Now, the thing about PTSD, and this is one of the things I implore you all to do, because this is something I failed to do. I knew it was something wrong. I knew it was something wrong, but because of my career, my field policing, I was afraid. I was afraid to go and talk to someone.
That's it right there. I said it. I don't even remember that I had said it in this video, but I was tragically afraid. And I know it's not just me who dealt with this. I know it's many other officers, and not just law enforcement officers, but also soldiers or military people who serve, who also deal with this fear of coming forward and letting people know what we're going through. All right. But there's consequences to not coming forward and not saying what you're going through. And you will see and hear more of it as my video goes on.
Because of the stigma that I thought that I would face being a police officer, um, and being classified as someone with this situation, PTSD. Um, because there's so many things that's associated with it. I give you a brief breakdown real quick. As a police officer, I always went to classes that taught us about hallucinations and things of that nature. And when you're talking to an individual, if they seem like they're having some type of mental episode, you know, of course, we're supposed to call in CIT, crisis intervention. But when I first entered policing, there was no such thing as CIT. So if a person was having a mental episode, we straight out took the person to jail. I mean, if they were not complying as a police officer, and if I told you to do something, you didn't comply, you know, you were taken to jail. Um, but even in the midst of doing those things, personally, I knew it wasn't right. I knew it was more to it because I knew what I was going through. Now, fast forward to late 2015, those same situations that I would encounter on the street when I had to confront someone who was in some type of mental episode, I went through it personally. I originally went to Herman Memorial Park.
Now, this is where it began. So, you all, this is where I began talking about my addiction, um, and my withdrawals and just everything. So, here goes.
Hospital here in Houston, Texas. Now, Herman Memorial Park, PARC stands for Pain and Recovery. Um, and I dislocated a shoulder in the military, as well as I dislocated a knee. And so I was having chronic pain already with my knee. So I was going back and forth to the VA hospital, but I also had a personal physician. Now, between my personal physician and the VA physician, I was prescribed right at 20 plus pills. Now, I was, and I'm not saying I took each one every day, but I took what was necessary. And the pills were a combination of benzodiazepines. Also in that category, benzodiazepines, you have sleeping pills because, like I said, I was having a lot of hallucinations and I was missing out on a lot of sleep. So I needed to sleep, and so I was given a benzodiazepine for anxiety and as well as to sleep. Then on top of that, I was prescribed the opioid. Now, opioids are usually for pain. Um, Once again, I dislocated my knee. I was a police officer. I was standing on my feet a good portion of my waking hours. So the I was given I was given an opioid for the pain. Well, on top of that, I was prescribed a SSRI, and SSRIs are for depression because when you when you have anxiety going on, and then you mix it with sleep deprivation, eventually depression is going to come in. And it doesn't have to necessarily come in that order, but that's how it happened for me. So between between those three, benzodiazepines, opioids, and SSRIs, um, and then other pills, other medication, I went to this place. That's all I could say. I went to this place, whereas my family stopped knowing me, my friends, I wasn't able to be a good friend to a lot of my friends like I needed to.
I got to stop it here for a moment and say something because I don't know at this time, again, this was 7 years ago. I don't know if I was fearful to say it, and I don't, or I was newly out of addiction. So let me break something else down that occurred that also led me to this point. In 2005, of course, just like I said, had already been going through with just different things after from serving in the military, and I served during Operation Desert Storm. I'd already been going through different things, but in September of 2005, I had just finished duty, and I was on my way home from work. Actually, on my way to pick my son and daughter up from my mother's house, and I was hit by a 22 wheeler. So this exacerbated everything that I was already going through, and which more pain pills were prescribed. Okay, now that's really where the pain pills came in. Then in 2006, after getting off of duty, still in uniform, Harris County Sheriff's Office homicide knocked at my door and told me that my baby brother had been murdered. That's where the Xanax came in because I had to go get his body. And I'm going to tell you all more about all of this, but this is like my introduction so that you all will know who I truly am at the core of me. Not just the ministry part of what God has called me to do, but who I truly am. Because by you all knowing who I truly am, I pray this allows you all to trust that I have you all's
best interest at heart. Okay. So I'll go back. I'll pick back up from here. But the Xanax came in after my baby brother was murdered. I couldn't sleep. I had to take care of my mother because he was her baby. I had to take care of my mother, move my mother in with me. I had a brother who was in prison at the time. Had to make plans to get him placed on suicide watch and homicide watch. And I'm the only girl. I had four brothers. Right now, I have two that's alive. My oldest brother's deceased and my baby brother's deceased. So it's been a lot, you all. But let me keep going. And again, I will make more videos so you all are totally 100% understand. But I needed you all to know that as a Texas peace officer, my my last few years, yes, I was addicted to pain pills and anxiety pills, which is the hydrocodone and the Xanax. I held down my profession. You know, it's something about what the military puts into us. Um, we almost become robotic. You know, it's almost like no feelings involved. You just go, you just go, you just go, you just do. And so that's what happened with me in my profession. Woke up like clockwork, went to work like clockwork. Didn't miss much time unless I had doctor's appointments. But then, like I say, late 2015, I went to Park Pain, Memorial Hermann Pain and Recovery Center because I got to a point where I knew this medicine was hurting me more than it was helping me. When I say hurt me more than it was helping me, um, it would help me for a certain amount of time, and then I would get up and I would feel worse. And that's just the fact. I would feel worse, and the side effects were horrendous. Um, Hallucinations began. Um, I would sleep, but my sleep wasn't restful at all. My sleep was not restful. So I would wake up and I would still be mentally, and as a matter of fact, physically tired. I would wake up and I would be just that way. And so I went in because I needed a better way. Okay, now I'm in Memorial Hermann and I'm there and I'm going into my fifth day. Finally, I see my physician on my fifth day. And by that time, I had already I had been there 5 days, excuse me, 5 days, and hadn't slept one iota. I hadn't slept at all. You all, when I say a sister hadn't slept, a sister had not slept, and all hell was about to break loose in my life. I have to laugh about it. Well, I have to be overjoyous about it at this point because I'm free. I'm free from it all. And it was a prison that unless you've been in addiction, you won't understand. Um, but okay, let's finish. Let's finish. I hadn't I hadn't slept. Um, Everything that I was originally prescribed by my doctors was taken away, and I was prescribed other medications that was issued out to me um, at a walk-up window at the Pain and Recovery at Memorial Hermann. And so I got to a point, especially like that fourth night, going into my fifth day, I got to a point where I wanted to go to the medical station and ask them to get an ambulance for me because I felt like someone had me by the throat and they were my breath was cutting off. My head felt like it was going to explode, and I'm just seeing things. So come the fifth day, I, I'm the physician. He was there, and so I saw him that morning. I was in such a bad state. I couldn't collect my thoughts to explain to him what was going on with me. I could not. I mean, my mind was just all over the place, and that's another side effect of all these different medications I had been put on.
I just had no direction. I had no comprehension. I was up, I was down, I was all over the place. So he saw me, and he told me just keep doing what I was doing. And I'm like, what I'm doing is not good. It's not good. It's not. And I think he was heading. Actually, I think he was actually heading to go play golf. So he came through. He saw the patients that was in my area, and he headed out. Okay, lo and behold, a few hours later, I'm sick. But as a soldier, someone who's been taught, do not complain, keep it to yourself, hold it down. I did just that. All the time I was exploding inside. I was exploding inside. So the hallucinations got worse. I and the fact I'm gonna tell you something strange about hallucinations. A person that has a who thinks rational, if your thoughts are rational, you want to question. People say they hear things. People say they see things. No, no one can do that. I always thought I was that rational person, and I did. I saw things. I started to see things. I started to hear things. I saw atrocities being committed against my family. Um, I mean, horrendous atrocities being committed against my family. And it was the worst. And so the first thing that kicked in with me was because some of the atrocities I saw was the fact that my family members had been murdered by police officers.
You all right here, I am literally telling you all about actual hallucinations that I was having, visual hallucinations. I was having auditory hallucinations also, but the visual hallucinations, you all, they are so true. And I was having them, and they were some of the most scariest things I've ever witnessed in my life.
And so my mom, my brothers, my son, my daughter. So I was too outdone. So the first thing I go into is fight mode. And my fight mode was, well, Sean, if they've killed your family, you're not going to make it out of here. So whatever it take, however it went, I was going down. So I went to the nurses station, and I asked them. First, I tried to do it politely because once you get there, you have to be there 7 days before you can have phone privileges and all that. So I asked them politely to let me use the telephone, and it was, no, we can't let you use the telephone. All the time, something's building up in me. It's building up in me. It's building up in me. Still trying to keep my military bearing, my professional bearing, even the atmosphere where it was none of that. I went back to my area. Well, by then, I walked back out of my area, and I saw one of the counselors standing in the hallway. And I went to her, and even to this very day, if I could see, I would love to apologize because at this point in time, I was totally out of myself. I had no control over what I was doing and who I was. I was not even Sean. I was someone that I wouldn't have even wanted to approach. So I went to her, and she immediately, I think she could see the rage in me. She immediately took me into her office. Now, to go into her office, we had to go through a main door and then a security door, and then there was her office. So now I'm like into this full blown hallucination. I'm hearing things, I'm seeing things, and I ask her. Some things I still have no memory of. A lot of things I do, some things are still coming back to me. Some things just happen, but I know in due time that God is going to show it all to me because it's all a part of my healing and my testimony. But then she took me in the office, and I was there. Well, I'm going to sum it up, and I'm going to speed ahead a little bit. Okay, I tore the office up. Um, they called the police department on me, and yeah, yeah. Listen, it's not funny, but I actually did. But not, but I did it because I was fighting for my life. I literally saw in my hallucinations my mother get killed, my brothers get killed. I saw my son and daughter get killed, and I knew in my hallucinations that they were going to kill me as well. So I was literally fighting for my life. Okay. Once officers arrived, once officers arrived, and yes, I was actually still, when all of this occurred, I was actually still a licensed Texas peace officer. Still licensed Texas peace officer. There. Um, and that's why I go into the arrest. You know, one of the things as a police officer, you have to do is first protect the individual that you're dealing with. Then you have to, well, you first protect yourself, and then you protect the individual you're dealing with, and you have to protect other individuals that were in the area. Excuse me. And remember, I was in a hospital setting, so there were other individuals there. So they tried to subdue me. I thought they were going to kill me or hurt me. So I fought against the officers. And this is something I need you all, everyone to know. You are you are way stronger than you even have any comprehension that you are. So to take an easy way, to take it out, it's not a choice. It's not a choice because you are stronger mentally and physically, and in your soul, you are stronger than you than you can even comprehend. And so the officers came in, five, six paramedics came in, and I'm fighting. I'm fighting. I'm blessed. You know, I've since I was a little kid, I've prayed. I've asked God to keep me. And if anyone is still going through any type of journey right now, hold on to God's hand, because I know it's only by the grace of God that I'm here today, because He kept me. Because I could have been tased. I grabbed a police officer's gun. I could have been shot, but by the grace of God, none of that happened. And you may say, well, it didn't happen because you're a police officer. At the time, I don't think they knew. I really don't. So, but they finally managed to subdue me. Took me from in handcuffs, in handcuffs. Took me from that facility to a different. You all listen, legal gangsters, listen. They handcuffed a sister. Yep, they handcuffed me. But I was cutting up, you all. But they handcuffed me and took me through the facility because I was acting up, through the facility in handcuffs, and then placed me in the back seat of a patrol unit. So I'm not foreign to an arrest. Okay, let's finish. Different facility, which is our main. It's called Bentalk Hospital. It's like one of the main hospitals here in Houston for real bad situations. But it has one of our it's the main hospital with the biggest psychiatric ward here. So they took me there. Um, the whole thing was because I was having sanity, insanity, sanity, insanity. I was in and out. So they took me there, and next thing I know, they took me to the psych ward. Had me chained to the bed, handcuffed to the bed, and I remember the parts that I do remember. I remember fussing, cussing, fighting. Um, well, yeah, all of that. And so they did all these tests on me because they could not believe that I was having some type of reaction from medications. Um, they were figuring, they really felt like I had received some outside medication while I was up at the pain and recovery center, but I didn't. All I had was some medications in me that the Memorial Hermann had prescribed to me to take. So I went from there.
I was there. I have no clue to this, even to this very day, how they found out I was a veteran. Once again, police officers came in.
And you all, I still have no clue to this very day how they found out I was a veteran, outside of maybe paperwork that I filled out when I was at Memorial Herman Park. But I don't even recall, because when I got to Memorial Herman Park, I was really sick, you all. I was really sick.
Put handcuffs on me. For a long time, I had the marks to show it because I was fighting. Because through the whole thing, I felt like, remember, I said I had hallucinations that my family had already been killed. So if I was going to be killed, I was going to fight my way out. And I went from there. They transported me to the Veterans Hospital, the Baker Veterans Hospital here in Houston. And
I have to say this to you all. Again, this is 2017. This happened in October of um 2015. So at this point, I was on the mend, but I fought so hard, you all. When I went into the hospital, I was like maybe 185 pounds, and I came out like 160. Between the fighting, the withdrawal, because when you're going through withdrawals, and I don't mean to be gross, but I'm going to be honest with you all, because I pray this helps someone. Okay. When you're going through withdrawals, you're vomiting, you're having diarrhea, you're having all kind of mucus coming out of your body, you catch a cold, everything. And even right now, watch as I watch this video, I'm watching my eyes. My vision was so distorted for like about 2 or 3 days while I was still in the hospital. I could not see. I had no vision. I literally could not see. um, and then also I'm looking at my teeth. I've had to have major repair on my teeth, because the addiction to the pills, especially the hydrocodone, it damaged my teeth, my lower teeth especially, and my gums. Okay, let's keep on.
once I got there, I was even more in a rage. It was just escalating. I was even more in a rage, and it was. It got to the point where it was so bad. They actually, at this point, it, they had been restraining me by the handcuffs. They put 5 police officers on me. One officer had one leg, one officer had an arm, one officer had an arm, and one was controlling my head. And they
It's not funny, you all, but it's the truth. And I, for the next few days, and which led into months, I had some horrendous body pain because of the fight that I put up. Um, just going side to side, going back and forth. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But again, I am here by the grace of God.
took me to the room. Um, and in the room, it was just a mat on the floor, which I have seen these before because I've transported people to these areas, never thinking I would be there. But that's the thing about life. We're all just human. We are all just human. None of us are beyond reproach. None of us are beyond even the greatest things that we may conceive in our minds that we may never do. Don't put yourself there, because if you do, believe me, it's different. There's different ways to um to show you that can occur in your life that you're not above it. You're not. You're just not.
What I'm saying right here, you all, what I'm trying to say is always be humble. Always be humble, because when you become haughty and you think that you are untouchable, God has a way to show you you can be touched. Not that I've been a person who had a haughty spirit, but because God had allowed me to do so many great things in life, and
accomplished so many major things in life. Addiction, no, it's no way. I never thought that this would become a part of me, having that label of addiction. Remember, I'm also from Fifth Ward, and I grew up. I was a teenager, I should say, during the '80s. So that was the height of the crack cocaine epidemic in Fifth Ward. Then in came the mandatory minimums if you got caught even with a rock. So, I never called a person a crackhead, and because I knew better and I knew how disrespectful that was. But I never thought that I could, in my lifetime, have a journey that was equal to their journey. Because one thing I do know, I'm not exactly sure about Xanax, but I do know anything that's opioid related, be it hydrocodone, Norcos, oxys, oxycodone. Those are all synthetic forms of heroin. So it's no different than a heroin addict, period. We can say that it's a prescribed medication, yes, and these medications were prescribed for me, but they are still synthetic heroin. So you go through the same withdrawals as if you were addicted to heroin. So at the VA hospital, they came in. Um, the 5 officers had me, and then a nurse came in and she had a syringe, and I'm steady fighting. I'm trying to keep her from giving me the shot because she was trying to give it to me, and I'm fighting, and so she stuck me, and okay, I got tossed on the mat, and it's not funny. It's funny now. The reason it's funny now because I'm here. I'm here. Like I say, I do not play the victim's card. I do not play the victim's card. As a matter of fact, I'm thankful for everything that occurred because all it is steps to my testimony, it steps to my greater living, it steps to me being able to help someone else. Because in this, us as soldiers, us just as people who go through things every single day, we can say it's nothing going on, but because if you saw me, if you ever saw me in uniform, if you ever saw me patrolling, if you ever interacted with me, you wouldn't have never known. It's so easy to put on a smile, but inside you could be dying. I and I can say at this point right now, I'm no longer a police officer. Um, I work with kids at the YMCA, and these are my best. And loved it, loved it. That was another part of the beauty of my healing. I don't even know what led me to the YMCA, but with these children, interacting with these kids, when I tell you, because they are just the most, they're going to be real with you. They're going to tell you the truth. So you can't fool them. You can't put on a smile and them not feel that you have something that you're hiding with a smile. They feel your heart. So in every step of this journey, God allowed just for the best for me. And I loved working with those little knuckleheads. I did. One day, hopefully, I get a chance to, just go back and spend time in that arena. But until I'm going to do what God has called me to do. So let's finish. Days. I'm more happy today than I've ever been. It's so much joy. It's so much joy, especially when you hit the bottom and you lay on your back and you can't see anything but going up. That's where I am. It is just so much joy, and it's no way that I cannot share it. You know, I know that I get critiqued from this. It's okay. It's okay because this is what you have to know with anything that you go through. If you go through it and you come through it, God has a greater plan for why you went through what you went through. So, but but back to being at the hospital. And when I was at the hospital, when I was at the VA hospital, um, after they threw me over, I they felt like that the one shot was gonna be sufficient. I stood up. That's why I say, believe me, know you're stronger than you have. You have no clue how strong you are until you find yourself in certain situations. I stood up. I was real angry then. I was already angry, but I was totally angry then. So I stood up and so I'm pacing, I'm fussing, I'm cussing, I'm just I'm. And so I'm beating on which the window was glass. It was no other glass in the room, but the window was glass, and it was the nurse sitting right outside the door. And the nurse, I think, I think she got enough of it.
It was like triple pane glass. I don't know, you all. I don't think anyone could have broken that glass if they tried. I thought I could for all the reasons whatever was going on with me. I thought I could, so I was beating on it. I think it was like double panel pane or double panel glass or something. I don't even know if it was glass. It may have been plexiglass, you all. I'm not sure.
Me. So she ended up calling the officers back. She ended up calling the nurse who first of all gave me and it was a tranquilizer. It was a tranquilizer shot. The nurse who gave it to me, and she came back, and I mean everyone just came in, and there I was again. One officer on one on my leg, one on my leg, one on my hand, one on my arm, and my head. And I can't be mad because this is the same thing that I was taught as a police officer when you have to subdue someone. So I wasn't I wasn't angry. I couldn't be angry. Um, well, at that time I didn't know anything but anger really, because I was fighting for my life in my own mind. And after that, the nurse, boom boom, she hit me twice. She hit me twice, and so next thing I know, um, it was 3 days later, literally 3 days later, I was waking up.
You all, it truly was 3 days later that I woke up. And when I was out, um, because they kept me sedated, when I was out, I had some of the most scariest dreams, and but also had beautiful dreams too at the end before coming out of the like the deep sleep. Well, just keeping me medicated, keeping me in a non-combative state. Okay.
Up and I could not move. I could not move. I had pain from my head to my feet because of all the fighting I was doing. But guess what? I was alive. I was able to open up my eyes. I was able to I was here. And at that point, I realized as long as I'm here, I can do this. Let me take you all back just a few steps. In the midst of riding in the back of a police car, handcuffed, um, I was going through sanity and insanity. But I had this one vivid point, and I have to share this because, like I say, when you hold on to God, when you have a relationship, because if you all are going through anything, believe me, you can be told to go to counseling, talk to a counselor. You can be told to eat right. You can be told to exercise, shower, take care of yourself, get sleep. But you can do all of that. But if you don't have God, if you don't have something to hold on to, all of that is for naught. It's for naught. So in the back of the police car, I was laying in the back of the car, and I asked God. Now this is a point that I remember vividly. I asked God. I said, Father, I know that they're going to kill me tonight. I know I'm going to be killed tonight, but I know I'm saved, but I need to make my election sure with you. I need to know if my life is taken this night, that when I open up my eyes again, I'll open up my eyes in heaven. I see my family, I see my loved ones, I see everyone I care about, everyone who's gone, who cared about me. So I laid sideways and I started to pray. I started to pray. And while I was praying, I saw heaven. The heaven that I know, the most brilliant colors, pinks, yellows, blues, greens. It just, I mean, because now we're talking about at this point, because all of this took place from late evening up into the morning hours. So it's pitch dark outside. And all of a sudden, all this brilliant light is in this back seat of this dark police car with me. And and not to be cliche, not to be cliche, but I saw a light so bright. I saw this light so bright, and the sun couldn't be this. It's no way the sun could be this light. The sun simply was not this light. And from there, I knew everything was going to be okay. I just knew everything was going to be okay, no matter what they did to me that night. I knew that from that point forward, everything was just going to be okay. And so I ended up fast forwarding to where I left off earlier. Um, After being under 3 days, I woke up, but then I spent another 2 days because I didn't have like function of my limbs because of fighting. Because of fighting, I was I was fought out. I was truly fought out. But afterwards, I was able to start mingling, moving around up there to hospital, and I had opportunity to apologize to some of the officers that I had situations with, and they were more than gracious. They were more than gracious. Um, Eventually, I got out. In the midst of getting out, now mind you, it wasn't over. It was just the beginning of my challenges. It was just the beginning, but nonetheless, I was walking with God. God was walking with me. Um, I went through acute withdrawal. I went through acute withdrawal, and I don't know if anyone has ever been through withdrawal from a benzodiazepine, opioid, or SSRI. Just each one individually is horrendous. I was going through withdrawing from three at one time. It was a lot. Um, but I don't dwell on it. I don't forget, but I don't dwell on it, but I use it. And I'm not gonna say I use it, but I need to share it with you all. Because I need anyone to know if you're going through something of that nature right now in your lives, that you're already an overcomer. If you're here, if you're here, if you saw the sun come up this morning, you heard a dog bark, a bird chirp, a car go by, a child laugh, you're here, you're alive. And if you're alive, you can do anything. Um, Suicide. I mentioned suicide. Wow. Every single day, 22 plus soldiers, veterans, military personnel commit suicide. Where the number 22 came from, I'm not sure because I know for a fact it's well beyond. Just learned last night that an officer that when I started off at the sheriff's department in the early 90s killed herself. She killed herself because of some things that was happening in her life and her relationship, and she didn't want to bring shame to her family. She didn't want to bring shame to herself, um, her department. And she killed herself. She shot herself in the head. Me personally, being black, growing up in a household full of strong Christians, strong mother, strong grandmother, I was always taught if you commit suicide, that's a straight ticket to hell. But I'm gonna tell you, as much as I was indoctrinated with this, the pain, the the pain, the pain, the heartache that you carry from survivor's guilt. It was a long, long time before I could even go into the VA hospital. As a matter of fact, I just really started going to the VA hospital in 2013. I came home from the military in 1996. I couldn't stand to step foot on the grounds because of the memories that I had. Believe me, I had the best of memories in the military, but at the same time, it was the word, just like the tale, the best of times, the worst of times, and it was because once again, I'm a war era veteran. Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm. But yeah, suicide, it's a big thing. But let me tell you, it's not just in the military community. I was looking at some statistics, and it was talking about how clergy are taking their lives at an all-time alarming rate. Now, the clergy is the last individuals that we feel would do such things, but the pain is real. The pain is so real. The pain is so real. But the thing about it is, if you just hold on, talk to someone. Please talk to someone. Talk to someone. You cannot internalize this. If you can picture uh, a trash bag, eventually, if you keep pushing enough trash into that trash bag, the trash bag is going to burst. It's going to burst. And that's why I found myself in late 2015. It's going to burst. You don't have no, I mean, it's just a law. It's a law of nature. It's just simply a law. So um, that's what it's, and then on top of that, suicide, the pain can cause the suicide in a great aspect, a great measure. But the side effects of taking certain medications also, they also have a lot to do with the suicides. Um, Benzodiazepines are the worst. In my opinion, they're the worst because they're supposed to help you with anxiety. But after you take them, after they wear off, you're more anxious than you were when you even began taking them. So if you know someone that may be having some anxiety in their lives right now, you know, if you can talk to them, steer them away from medications, if you can. Um, and if it's not so bad, try and steer them away from taking medications such as benzodiazepines. Opioids are not good either. Yeah, and if you read the labels and the way, like with a lot of my medication, well, with the great number of my medications, the VA prescribed them to me, but then my personal physician of 20 years put me on some medications too. Um, and the make sure you also make sure you also let your primary care, if you're seeing care outside of outside of the hospital, let outside of the VA hospital, I should say, you have a primary physician. Make sure the information is coming together with diagnoses and medications and things of that nature, because yeah, they can counteract one another, and when they counteract, it can have horrible consequences. It can have horrible consequences. Um, this evening I was going to go into causes, symptoms, steps to recovery. I I'm looking at the clock. It's already like 7:50. Um, I won't hit that right now, because that's a whole different area. Right now, I mainly wanted to let you all know where I am, how it all started, how it began. And I pray that I've been a help to someone just by you all hearing my story. You know, I want to be transparent. You know, I was told by a lot of people, be careful what you say on on live and things of that nature. Yeah, I can understand it. But this is what something I understand greater. I didn't come to this by chance. So if I came to it and I came through it, I must share. I must share my delivery. I must share my journey. I must share where I am today and what's keeping me here. Um, I have a I have a joy in my life now that I've never had.
And I'm telling you, I've traveled around the world. I've had the careers, I've had the money, I've had the vehicles. I've lived in the best places. I've stayed in some of the best places, but nothing compares to the joy I have right now. It's simplistic. Like I said, I'm a counselor at the YMCA right now. It's other things I do, but my life is simplistic, and I'm just simply happy with a simplistic life, enjoying my family, enjoying my new little granddaughter, and like with my granddaughter, when you hold on to God's unchanging hand, He always has something in store for you. He always puts something there for you. I can say she honestly helped save my life, and God knew. So, but this is what I ask you all. You, I'm coming through to you through the Bounty of Eden, and the Bounty of Eden is my side page where I share. The Bounty of Eden, what I'm speaking of, you all, is just about nutrition, healing, personal self care. It's just about those different things. I don't do that page anymore because I've moved 100% back into the assisting with the criminal record expungement, because I had to even in sealing, because I had to even take time away from that part of my life, because if I was not healed, I couldn't be all I needed to be to you all. So even right now, here it is 7 years later, and here I am being able to sit down and watch myself tell a story. And now I'm able to breathe, you all, because even though I told the story 7 years ago, it has been locked away 7 years. And when I say it's been a cross to carry, because it's not that I haven't thought about it. For a long time, I wasn't even able to go to my YouTube channel and look just at the screen of the video, because it became so heavy, because I wanted to speak so bad. But because of honoring my mother, and then just being apprehensive for my own self, and how would I be taken, especially with the fact that here I am trying to help others who are facing situations with the justice system. And I'm like scared to share my situation. But as of this day, when you all see this video, no more. No more. You all know this part of me. And I ask you all, if you know someone who can perhaps use what I'm sharing, um, please share with them. Please share my story with them. Because guess what? No matter who you are, until you get to heaven, you just human. And that means as long as you human, you are eligible for anything to occur in your life. But as a child of God, there is a wonderful layer of protection that keeps the things, that a lot of the heavier things that the world go through. I'm not going to say you won't face it, but it just won't be as harsh to you. If that makes sense, it just won't be as harsh. Another thing that I failed to include in here, and I probably just wasn't thinking about it at the time, because even watching myself right now, I see how I'm trying to make sure I'm saying everything, but I was still in a very, very cloudy phase at this time. But when I was at Herman Memorial Park, and I want you all to listen to this closely, please. When I was at Herman Memorial Park, just before the severe withdrawal began, and when I told you all, it felt like someone was choking me, and it felt like my head was about to explode, it felt like my whole body was about to explode. And I just knew I was about to die. The last thing I remember before the horrendous withdrawal symptoms set in
was that I got down on my knees and I put my head on the floor. And I put my head on the floor and I was seeking relief and praying at the same time. And when I started to pray, I didn't know what was going to happen to me beyond that point. But I knew no matter what did happen to me, everything was going to be okay. It's this relief that I experienced in that mere second that let me know no matter what happened. So that means even if I would have died that night, of course I didn't want to die. I still felt like I had a whole lot of life and I still had things to do. I still had my ministry, which is the criminal record expungement and sealing. I still had the ministry that God had called me to in 2003. And if I really honestly say, when he actually called me to this, it was way before 2003. It was when I first went to the Harris County Sheriff's Office. And if I say before that, it was even with me going into the military. And if I say before that, it was even my high school that I went to that taught me how to take care of people. So, and I say all this to say that in the word, it says that God knew us before we were even in our mother's wombs. So he already know the destiny he had for me. It's just things that had to occur along the journey to get me to the destination. So today I'm here and again, I have not arrived. This is just a part of the journey still because it's only going to get greater. It's going to get better. Um, but I'm so grateful where I am now. And so, again, if you know anyone who could use this, please share it with them. And let's finish really quick. A lot of personal information I share to what I've been through, the things I do now, from my mental, from my spiritual to my mental to my physical. Um, I post a picture, just my granddaughter is 5 months old now, and when she was 1 month old, I was not good. I was not good, but I'm great now. I'm great. So once again, know this: you are not a victim. You are not a victim. You're a veteran, and because at this point, you all, I was just strictly talking to veterans. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit so we can go on and close this out. Every single I no longer take because the bounty of Eden and Eden, the Garden of Eden, every good thing was there in the Garden of Eden that we needed. People lived forever. We were not meant to die, but fails and mistakes that were made there. Of course, we have a death sentence now, but you can live you can live a healthier, greater, happier life if you just adhere to some of the metal. Now, the VA hospital want to put metal in my body for a surgery to do a hip replacement. I say no. I You all, okay, I'm going to end it right there. Yeah, I did eventually have to get 2 hip replacements, and it's all good because I'm so much better now. But my faith is a big faith. So my faith was that, and that's the thing about God, the experiences are what he needs you to have to get to where you need to be. My faith said I was not going to have to have hip replacements, but God saw different because it's God's plan. It's not my plan. It's not our plan at all. It's strictly God's plan. So that's that. And I thank you all for being on this journey with me. I don't know. I have um a discharge paper that I wanted to try and show to you all, but I don't know if I put it up to the camera, if it's going to show the information in reverse or what. But um remember I told you all that I went to Herman Memorial Park in October of 2015 to get better. Um, I'm looking at a withdrawal from the hospital on emergency room from September of 2015. So basically, maybe about 2 weeks before I went into the horrendous situation at Herman Memorial Park. Um, and the diagnosis says narcotic withdrawal. It says narcotic withdrawal. And let me see if I can show you all this. I can't tell if it's backwards or not, but I hope it's not. I hope you all are able to see it properly. Let's see. Yeah, there it is. Methodist Willowbrook Hospital. There's my name. There's the date. And let's see. I think that's where it says narcotic withdrawal. And let me see. I think, yeah. Let me see. I'm going to highlight it real quick and you all may be able to see it better. Well, I'll be able to see it better while I'm showing it to you all. Uh, you see that? It says Norco. So I'm being 100% honest with you all. There it is. And again, oh, come on, Sean. Again, it was narcotic withdrawal. All right, you all. So that is it. That is it. That is it. I love you all. I thank you all for staying with me this whole time of 1 hour and right at 18 minutes. And now it's only going to get better. You all want to make comments, I'm going to address them. I may make videos to address your comments or your questions. And I guess that's it. I've kept you all long enough. Legal gangsters. Legal gangsters. I love you all. I thank God for you all. I thank God for our city. And let's pray for one another. Let's keep one another lifted. And remember, we're in this together. Let's love on one another. Let's protect one another. And let's keep one another lifted up. Because just like we say in church, we are stronger together. And that's the truth. All right, legal gangsters. This is Sean Lacey, aka Miss Officer, and I'm signing out. Bye bye.